Well, do you know someone who's an addict, or maybe you're in a relationship with an addict or working through sobriety? Many times you'll see this in a relationship, that when the addicted person gets sober, that the relationship actually struggles. I mean, it sounds crazy. For years, all we've wanted is for them to get sober, and we're like, God, we'd finally be connected and have this great relationship. And there can tend to be a honeymoon period where everyone gets along really well. But usually very quickly, struggles start to pop up. And there's a reason for that. And part of it is because the non-addicted person has been so afraid, filled with sheer terror over the addiction, whichever addiction it is: alcohol, pills, drugs, sex, porn, all the different addictions out there, food, working out, work, whatever it may be that, the spouse is addicted to. They've spent so much time trying to stop the addiction that attempt to stop it, and the worry and the fear and the frustration, living on pins and needles, never knowing what's going to happen next, that when all of a sudden that goes away, there's a big void that's left on the non-addicted person. There is a sense of loss, there's a sense of emptiness, and then all the rage comes out, because usually they're trying to be really nice, because the non-addicted person is like, if I could just love them enough, they'd give this up. Their heart is in the right place, but there's also an aspect of, it's about them. They want lots of love, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, for wanting love. But now that, that chase to get somebody sober really isn't loving. It's actually a codependent dynamic, and it's a power dynamic, because we're trying to control them and get them to stop. And so when that's gone, there's a massive power vacuum. There's this empty space. And so I have lots of couples, like, this sounds crazy, but I've had couples where once this side got sober, they start offering them whatever their addicted option was: drugs, booze. Like, oh, it's just once, it's not a big deal. Like this, and this may sound shocking to you, and that's why I'm doing this video, is people don't realize the non-addicted person many times will encourage the addiction to start up again. They'll put things in place for the addiction. They'll start to create behaviors over here to try and trigger the restarting of the addiction, because really what you have when there's one person who's addicted, you actually have a co-addicted relationship. The person who's the addict using the substance, and the one who's trying to get them to stop. This is actually an addiction to get them to stop. And so now, for the first time in their life, they're going to be forced to face the pain of that addiction, because anyone who's addicted in any type of an addiction, they're just trying to soothe intolerable pain. It's not a genetic thing. It's none of that. It's intolerable pain. And so as long as we're trying to stop the addiction, we don't have to feel that underlying pain, because our focus is external. It's all over here. Well, once they get off their addiction, they start learning healthy habits on how to take care of themselves, how to soothe their pain and work through their pain without the addictive substance. Now this person is faced with their addiction. Oh my God, I have to heal this. But it doesn't feel right. It's like, no. I put up with your addiction for years. Don't you dare tell me that I have to go look at me. I've suffered all the lonely nights, look, I grew up with an alcoholic mother, and many of us, we've lived with addicts. It's horrific. And the thought that we have to then look at ourselves after all we've sacrificed for them, all we've given up, all the embarrassments, all the hurts, all the abandonments, oh my God, all the things that the addict has, inflicted. We're like, there is no way I'm going to look at me. Well, that's why I wanted to do this video, is so many times I see marriages break up and relationships break up because the addict stops, and this one refuses to even consider that they might have some work to do as well. And so I encourage you, if you've been the what we would consider the non-addicted spouse in a relationship. If you have someone who's newly sober or working towards sobriety or has been sober and you're finding difficulties, I urge you to get help. That what you're struggling with is the same intolerable pain as your addicted partner. You're both in pain. There's no difference. It's just getting expressed in a kind of completely opposite way. And so my heart breaks for you, and this isn't a judgment of you. And I from being in those dynamics myself, it's a real assault to us of, wait a minute, you can't tell me that I'm part of the problem. We just don't want to hear that. And I can definitely, I can empathize with, if you're hearing this for the first time, if anger and rage is coming up and like, no, you're full of it, Kenny. It's okay, I can hear it. But I really urge you to, Al-Anon is available, counseling is available, someone like myself is available. There's great books on codependence and codependent recovery from, having a partner who's addicted. I really encourage you to get some help. And if you do, see, now you can share in the recovery addiction experience. And that's what creates intimacy. And that's what both sides want. Into me, I let you see, and both are now available to open themselves up, to share their pain with each other. Well, my God, isn't that why we got in the relationship to begin with? Somebody who I could share my pain with, who gets me. Maybe they do it a little bit different, but it's the same pain. And that's the treasure that's waiting for you if you avoid this common pitfall. And so if you have a partner who's struggling with sobriety, please, if you even start now, even before they get sober, you will give them, you will lead them. You can be a leader into their sobriety. And you can both have the love and intimacy that you both yearn for, you both deserve. You can be healers of each other. You can learn to flourish together and not flounder anymore. So I hope that helps you. I hope you're having a great day.